डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन युनिव्हर्सिटी.
Namaskar. I, Dr. Darshana Dalwadi, is welcoming you all to the lecture series of software engineering from the Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. Dear learners, we were discussing about the different process models. In previous lecture, we discussed about linear process models. There were waterfall model. Then after we were having incremental model. And we also discuss about RAID model. In this lecture, we are going to see about evolutionary process models. Now, today's agenda is, first we will see what is the meaning of evolutionary process model. Then after different evolutionary process models we are going to discuss. First one we have prototyping model. Then after we have spiral model. Then concurrent development model and specialized process models. Now, let's start the lecture. First one we have the meaning of evolutionary software process models. Now when we have these softwares, and if we discuss about it, then when we are having this, you can say any type of software you have, then it evolves over a time period. Business requirements changes as project development advances. It is not so that, or we can say it is rare cases you will find where you do not have any change. Means changes are a part of our lives. Each and every person will have change. So as we will have the changes in our softwares also. These changes lead to major changes in already developed projects, which leads to extension of time and efforts. If you are having a software which is already developed, you are using it, and now you find that some changes are required in this software. So what will happen? Software is already developed and you are giving the new changes in it now. So to implement it, the time as well as the efforts required will be very high. There are many software products for which time to market is very important. Time to market means when you are launching the system or when you are delivering the system in the market. That is very important. If I give you some simple example of WhatsApp. With WhatsApp, let's say this messaging application we are having, WhatsApp, right now most of the users are using. Means you will not find a single person who is not using WhatsApp, right? But anybody is knowing that with WhatsApp, when it was launched, at the same time we were having one application which was providing the same things, same functionalities, but the time it launched, I am saying at the same time, but it was not exact the same time. First WhatsApp launched, after some times that application launched. I forgot actually the name of the application, but it was like this. That another example I can give, most of the users are using right now Facebook. In social media, we will not find any person who is not having their Facebook ID, right? But if you are a computer science student, so you may recall that you were having one application which was having the name as Orkut, right? So Orkut was providing the same functionalities at that time when it was launched. Right now Facebook is very advanced and it is advancing day by day. But the point to discuss is what? When it was delivered in market to use for the user, that time was very much important. So in such type of software products you have, in which you have to take care of the time when you are launching it. So that is called as here the time to market is very much important. During development of such project, changes occur, then they may lose competitive edge. After that, we can say, in such cases, instead of publishing the whole software product, a limited version is published. You are launching the application, and in between the launch only you get the changes, then it will affect your overall business as well as the image of that product. So what you can say? You can say that instead of launching the whole software product, you first launch the product with limited functionalities. Then after some time, give that functionality, add that functionality and relaunch it. Right now also we can say that right now whatever I gave you the example of Facebook, right? So in Facebook, whatever functionalities you are using right now, have you seen that before 5 years? It was not there. So what they have done? They have initially launched the Facebook. Then after some time they launch new feature. Again after some time they provided more security, and so on. You are getting the number of features right now. So this is what we are doing, that when we are launching it, instead of launching the whole product at a time, launch it in a limited version. This limited version may contain core product with basic functionality, and remaining functions may be published as a system extension afterwards. We can say whatever changes we are doing, that are the extensions to that system that can be done. In such situation, software engineers need a process model that accommodates product which evolves over time, which is called as evolutionary process model. We are having evolutions, and after that we are getting the products. These models are iterative in nature. We will get it in iteration forms. First model we have, that is prototyping. Prototyping means what? As the name suggests, you will have some prototype which we will use, and based on that we will be able to get the final product. So where you can use this approach, where the prototype model can be used? Often customers are not sure about their requirements regarding the software. In many cases it happens that you want the software, but the customers who are going to use it, they are not more clear in most of the requirements. They are unable to describe detailed input, process and output. On the other hand, developers also are not be able to understand the requirements of customers, or they are not sure about certain algorithms. Both the sides, vice versa, it is possible. Customers are clear, but the developers who are going to develop the requirements in software are not understanding, or are not able to understand the requirements what are the customers providing. Or we can say they understand the customer, but they are not sure whatever algorithms they are going to use work properly with it or not. So in such cases, prototyping model is best approach to apply. How? That we are going to see now. The software prototyping refers to developing a prototype of software application. Such application displays the functionality of the product which is to be developed, but it do not actually have the exact logic and implementation of the original software. Here we are saying that we are providing prototyping. Prototyping means what? You can say the copy means whatever original software you require, you will have exact logic, exact implementation in this prototype. that you are using, checking, using it, testing it, and if changes are required, you are submitting the changes. Developers are implementing it, and again new launch is done. Software prototyping enables developer to understand customer requirements at an early stage of development. It helps get valuable feedback from the customer and helps software designers and developers understand about what exactly is expected from the product under development. So this is what we have in prototyping model. Here you can see the representation of prototyping model in figurative form. First activity start from the communication, then designing, quick designing, then modeling, then after we have construction, then development and development, delivery and feedback. Communication, first activity we have. Process begins with communication. Developer and customer meet and identifies very basic software requirements. Details of internal design and processes are ignored at this stage. In communication activity, what we are saying, we can say in simple terms, we are collecting basic requirements of the customer. Whatever details we need in internal designing as well as the processes, that we are not considering in this level, that are ignored. Based on the requirements collected in communication, we have second phase, that is quick plan. A quick planning and designing is done based on the customer requirements. Building prototype. Third step we have, that is building prototype. A prototype is built which implements customer requirements. Whatever customers' requirements you have collected, based on that, whatever planning you have done, as well as what type of designing you will require, planning and designing is done. So now you are trying to implement the requirements. This prototype generally consists user interface which is visible to customers. After that we have customer feedback. Fourth activity we have, that is customer feedback. Customer reviews the prototype and gives feedback. Now whatever prototype you have generated, that you are giving to the customers only to use. They are using, they are reviewing it and giving their feedback. Feedback is used for further enhancement of prototype, and the next iteration for building prototype begins. Whatever feedback the customer have given, that are used in the enhancement process of the prototype. In feedback, it is possible that customers are suggesting some new changes. New changes means which is not there in the given prototype. Additional thing they are giving that can be accommodated, as well as it may happen that whatever functionalities are given to use, customers are finding that they are not up to the mark. Up to the mark in sense, when they are using, they are not finding it according to their requirements. So this is what existing requirement was given by the customer. It is in existence in given prototype, but now the customer is suggesting changes. So it is possible to have this type of requirement changes, or you may have new requirements. So any type of things can be accommodated, which will be the next iteration, starting of the next iteration. Thus, prototyping paradigm helps developer understand software requirements. Customer and developer both must understand that this is a working representation of actual software. They should be clear in mind that this prototype which they are using is a working representation of actual software. how their actual software will work, that is represented by this prototype. Thus, after requirements are well understood, prototype must be scrapped. Whenever you have such type of prototyping model, as you get your desired prototype, means you will have some prototype which will work as your final product. So as you are getting your final product, your requirements are well understood, then you need to scrap all the remaining prototypes. Some advantages of prototyping models are there. Customer gets involved in the product throughout the software development. As we have seen that customers are giving their feedback, so from starting to end they will be involved in your software development project. Customer get a better understanding of the system being developed as working model of the system is exhibited. Regular reviews lead to detect defects early, leading to decrease in the time and costing. As we have seen that we are giving the prototype to users, or we can say to the customers to review it. Customers are reviewing it, means regular reviews are coming from the customers. It helps us to detect any defect in early stages, which will not lead in the form of increased timing or increased costing. User feedback is available during development, leading to better solution. Missing functionality is identified easily. As we discussed already, that it may happen that when you are giving the prototype to users, at that time they are finding that whatever functionalities they were assuming to have, they are missing. Means they want new functionalities to add. So it is possible to accommodate. So that is what we have written over here. Missing functionalities are identified and it is also possible to accommodate it in new prototype. With it, some disadvantages are also there. Customer gets accustomed to working prototype. They are not aware about compromises in quality of prototype. What customers are doing, they are reviewing and they are just giving their feedback. They do not know that what type of compromises the developers are doing with the quality of the prototype. They ask to make prototype as actual software with fixes. Suppose you have given one prototype to the users, means to the customers, they are using it, they are testing it, and at that time they feel that whatever feedback they have, suppose we consider that they are finding some errors, so they think that in their software no error should be there, and if error is there, the developer should fix it. So this is what the disadvantage we have. Developer makes technical compromises while developing a quick prototype. After requirements are gathered, this prototype need to be scrapped. As we have seen that in prototyping we are having number of prototypes. Prototyping model contains number of prototypes. So developers are developing it, but they are doing somewhat compromise, we can say, in technical terms, as they have to develop it in less time, means quick response they want. So what they have to do, they have to compromise somewhere. The customer is not knowing that what compromise the developers are doing. The effort invested in building prototypes may be too much if it is not monitored properly. If the prototypes are not monitored properly, the efforts required in it for the implementation may be too much, which will create the effect in the overall costing as well as in the overall timing of whole software project. Second one we have, that is spiral model. Second model we have, that is spiral model. As the name suggests, spiral means what? We can say we are starting from somewhere, moving round, round, and ending at somewhere, right? So that is what we are having the meaning of spiral. Same thing we are having in this spiral model. We will start from somewhere, it will start moving clockwise. From where it started, at that point it will come, the first round will over. Again it will start, and so on, the iteration we will get. Getting? Most of the students have seen spiral. You are doing your spiral binding. In that, whatever wire you are having, the same thing you can assume here. Now we will see, this is the example I explain you that what is the meaning of spiral. Now how in software engineering we have the spiral model, that we are going to see. In spiral model, we can say first, as we have discussed, that we are discussing these evolutionary models in which we will have more than one products as a output. Here in spiral model, it is iterative like prototype model and have systematic development like waterfall model. It is using concepts of prototyping as well as the waterfall. It was developed by Barry Boehm, who was a renowned software engineer. Using this model, software is developed as it is evolving. In the early stages, software prototype may be developed which is converted to complete software during later stages. Here what we are doing in prototyping model, what we are doing, we are generating number of prototypes, and the stage will come where we are getting the final prototype which will work as the copy of our original implementation. Here what we will have in spiral model, in spiral model we are having the software prototypes which may be developed, number of prototypes we will have, but that can be converted into complete software during the early stage, during the later stages. Means in early stage you can identify that this product may work as the final product. Afterwards you can decide that. Spiral model is divided into a sequence of framework activities. Each set of framework activities leads to one spiral path. I said you that from one point you have to start. It will start in clockwise direction. Once you are starting and moving clockwise and coming to the starting point again from where you have to end. So that whole will be the spiral path. Each set of framework activities leads to one spiral path. You can say in simple terms that to complete whatever time you are taking framework activities is called as one spiral path in spiral model. Movement is in clockwise direction. First circle around the spiral may result in product specification development. The next one or more circle around the spiral may result in system requirement specifications. Thus, through many iterations progressively, sophisticated software will be developed. At the first iteration only you will not get the final product. When you are having first circle, you may get product specification development. In next one or in next remaining circles you may get system requirement specification, and so on. After having many iterations, you may have your desired software. So this is what we are having in spiral model. We can see here we are having 5 framework activities: communication, planning, modeling, construction and deployment. Here you can see we are starting from the communication, moving towards planning to modeling to construction to deployment, right? So here your first spiral is over. Again from communication you are starting, moving to the remaining activities and again coming on deployment. So this is your second spiral, it ends. And so on, you are getting number of spirals, number of circles it is producing. And then after you are getting your software, which is the final software. Now first activity we have, that is communication. Process begins with communication. Business requirements are gathered in the baseline spiral. As a spiral moves forward, product matures. Second one we have, that is planning. These phase encompass estimation, scheduling and risk analysis. During estimation, time, cost and efforts required to develop the project is calculated. Scheduling is the process that decides the time of deliverable products like scope of the project, design, etc. With it, risks are also there. Risks are possible conditions and events that prevent development team from its goals. There is a wide range of risk from trivial to fatal. The primary task for the development team is to enumerate all the possible risks and prioritize them according to the importance. After that we have modeling. Modeling refers to production of the actual software product at every spiral. During initial circle, when the product is just thought of, system specification is created. Then construction is there. Initially, a concept about software is built. Then in the subsequent spirals, with the higher clarity on requirements and design, a detailed working model of the software called build is produced with a version number. These builds are sent to the customer for feedback. In prototyping model, we were getting prototypes. Here we are getting build. After that, we are having the next one, that is deployment. This phase allows evaluating the output of the project by the customer before the project continues to the next spiral. Customer gives their feedback. Based on the customer evaluation, the software development process enters the next iteration and subsequently follows the linear approach to implement the feedback which are suggested by the customer. The process of iterations along the spiral continues throughout the life of the software. The spiral model is a realistic approach for developing complex and large-scale software. Spiral model is applicable to projects with high risk and breakthrough technology is to be used. After this, we are having the advantages and disadvantages of spiral model. Dear learners, today we are keeping up to this. The advantages and disadvantages of spiral model and remaining part of the evolutionary process models we will continue in the next lecture. Dear learners, up to this we are keeping. The next points we will discuss in next lecture, means the advantages and disadvantages and remaining evolutionary process models we will do in next lecture. So up to that, Namaskar.